I know there's one game left on the schedule, but how would you evaluate your first season as offensive coordinator?
Up and down. Obviously you want to win them all. It's been fun. I've had a great time doing it. I wish we had a couple more victories. Obviously, some of those games were close. Those are always the tough ones. But I mean, it's been great. It's been fun. But obviously, the quarterback room, hanging in there with those guys, and then being able to get in more, I guess, contact, be connected more with the rest of the team. That's been the fun part about it. But obviously, you learn a lot, and you always get frustrated. You're going, dang man, this call or that call. You get more. You take more home. You always take stuff home with you, especially when you're coaching quarterbacks. Like it's a no-win situation in a funny way, because the quarterback always feel bad if you don't do well. Then you take plays. You take like everything home with you all the time. So that's the part. It's like because you always feel bad. Like I could have done this, could have done that better. So yep, gotta keep them better. But it's been a blast.
Jim, I asked this kind of knowing that your job and your goal is to score probably every time you have the ball.
It is.
But you look at Utah's point production,
Yeah.
4 in a row over 45, only twice under 30 all year. I mean, does that add to the way you think or game plan, thinking we got to score points in this one?
Yeah, it's a great question, because you're like, what they're doing to a lot of people, and then you watch the K-State game, obviously, and you're going, geez, just keep going. And we got a little bit. I guess the only game they did was one game. We're in some hotel. I think we watched the Texas Tech game, which is probably one of their lowest scoring, right? Potentially.
Definitely.
So it gives you hope that, okay, maybe they don't score all the time and everybody. But no, it does. You have to be careful. It's like how do you say this? It's gonna be a bad way to say it. It's kind of the opposite, like playing a military type team. They might get the ball out, they might keep scoring a lot. The military team won't score much, but it's still a concept of them doing something different. Prolonging their drive. So you kind of say, you know what, you don't want to put too much pressure, you want to do too much differently, but you do know in the back of your mind, like, we need to score. Well, just like the Iowa State game.
Sure.
It was gonna be a low possession game, but we knew that if they did score, we got to score. So yeah, it's a little bit of thought. You know what's going on, but like, you know what, we're just gonna keep doing what we're doing.
And what you got a lot of seniors.
Yes.
But
I was looking at that. I'm like,
yeah, right.
You know, but you don't know.
Right. We've chronicled your relationship with Jalen throughout this whole thing, and if you win, you get another game with him. If you don't, this is it for you. What's your emotion surrounding going out there, guaranteed one final time with JD?
And that's what you do. You live in that moment. You don't live in the what ifs. Because you feel it. You know it's out there, but you're just gonna say, hey, let's live this. Just like live in the moment, like we do a quarterback play. Live in the next play, the next game or whatnot. So like, hey, let's just go play this game and see what happens. And obviously, be able to reflect afterwards. But the biggest thing for me is like, I just want him to play to the best of his ability, have fun, do it one more time here in the stadium. Hopefully, one more game after that, obviously. But for the one more home game, and with him, it's been special because how much he's meant to me personally, but obviously to the program itself, and he's done a great job of helping put Kansas football on the map. And that doesn't mean you're going to win every game, but he's brought that, hey, KU football matters, and that's what's been really cool about that. And then just him, when you're with somebody for so long, 5 years, you create the relationship with him, you're like, yeah, he becomes part of your family, like I said before. Yeah. So it's a pretty neat thing.
You mentioned watching the K-State game. Kansas State obviously had a lot of success in that game, being able to run the ball, and Kleiman mentioned A-gap power, et cetera. Is there anything that you can take from K-State's game plan where you can say, hey, there's maybe a little bit of this that we could maybe explore as well?
Yeah, just like your favorite game plan. It was unique. They had so many gashing runs. There's a couple of those. It was like a missed tackle, a missed fit. And the running backs did like great. I mean, I was just playing well, but running backs did a great job of making that one guy miss or somebody happen. And then with all the man coverage they're playing, if you can get by that first level. So there's some thoughts going, hey, it gives you some hope. Like, okay, if we can get the interior blocked, be a gap scheme, be a power / gap scheme, so on. We got a shot at that thing. So it does it opens up from the okay, there you go, some opportunities. Hopefully, potentially can work through that. Just like most games will give you some kind of feel. That was good. Just kind of say, okay, kind of gives you a little bit of help.
On senior day, you have some seniors on the offensive line who could help with that. When you look at Bryce Foster, Kobe Baines, Nolan playing quite a bit now as a tight end as well. What have you seen from those guys, and what's it been like now as offensive coordinator, kind of getting to continue to build a relationship from maybe a little bit different view than you did when you were in the quarterback?
You know what I've seen more from those guys is growth from a young man perspective, if I were to say it. That's what I've really seen, especially for a kid like Kobe. You know how much he's growing up is a bad way to say it, but the maturity level of just him maturing and for lack of a better word, than just becoming just a great kid. I mean, I've been through some ups and downs and situations, stuff like that has been great. And watching guys like Nolan and those guys are having success later. Because not many guys will stay around for a long period at schools. I mean, they're not playing as much. He's been through injuries too. So I think that's what that meant so much is the ability to stick with things and keep fighting through things. And that's what it's been so, how do I say it? It's been so much fun seeing it and watching their successes.
Anything else for Coach Zebrowski? All right. Thanks.
Hey DK, I know you've got one game left, but how would you evaluate your first season as defensive coordinator?
I think it's been, some up and downs. We had some really good moments that we played in every game. We've had some good moments. Just the consistency of what we do, just haven't been what we wanted on every game there. And if we can capture, just those moments where we're playing really well and playing at our level, I think there's a bright future here for the guys who'll be returning to playing. So I'm excited about that.
D.K, when you watch this Utah offense, you see how good they are at rushing. You guys have kind of struggled to contain the rushing. How do you go into a game like this where that's probably going to be the thing that wins this game?
Yeah, you know what they're going to do, and really they're good at everything, just for, the yards, but they are one of the top rushing teams in the nation. So it's all the same. We got to do a better job of coaching guys' eyes and where they're supposed to look, and then guys got to take that to a game and look where they're supposed to look. Because your eyes are your greatest weapon, your eyes are your greatest defense. If you look right, you do right. And if our eyes are right, then we can get in the right gap and kind of do what we need to do. But, just like the last game, if our eyes aren't good, then we're not going to be in our gap and not doing that. So we got to do a better job coaching that to the players and then do a better job of executing that in the field. And that's going to give us a great chance. And as always, you got to tackle. And they got some guys who are really good in space. Can make you miss. So we got to have many hats at the ball, try to get many hits, and get them down to the ground and get ready to go.
And with that, when you're talking about still coaching eyes and stuff in a do or die week, I'm sure so much of that is spring and camp and just drilling it, right? How can you do it in a 1 week setting to make sure it shows up on Friday?
Yeah, it's whatever you have in the game plan at that time. You got to really go over, hey, this is where your eyes are, this is where they got to stay, and he will lead you to where you need to go. And that's easier said than done, but that's football.
Right.
That's football, and that's a beautiful game which we play. Like I said, if you look right, you're going to do right. And I think that's the most important thing in the playing defense, at any level, all the way down to Pee Wee, all the way up when I coached the NFL. We were still talking about guys who made $14 million a year. Yeah. And that's what kind of took them through besides their talent.
When you look at what their offense Utah's offense has done production-wise, do you even address it? 45 points in a row or 4 games in a row, only under 30 twice. Do you address those types of things with your team and say, hey, we have to do our part. Offense is obviously going to have to score, but we have to do our part even more because this team is so explosive.
Yeah, that's a great question. I think what you do, every week is pretty much the same, in which, hey, these are the tendencies that we have. This is what they do. But then it got to be a lot about us and what we do and how we got to execute and play our game. And I think that's the most important thing is that we just focus on us and executing and how they're going to attack and do different things like that. And they're going to have, I know it's a short week, but they're still going to have some wrinkles that we haven't seen. And once again, your eyes got to be good so you can react and do, what you need to do to be able to help try to contain a team like this and give our offense a chance.
DK, when you went back over the film from Iowa State, what were some of the things that stood out?
Yeah, I think the big thing is, like I said, we played good in some sports of that game. First down, we were pretty good in stopping the run. We created about 9 negative plays, against them. It's big, like I said, just earlier. I just think our eyes weren't where they need to be. We didn't do a great job coaching it that week, and guys didn't do a great job executing. So we got to do a lot better job as coaches getting these guys' eyes where they're supposed to be so they can get their feet and body and hands in the proper spot to make the plays necessary for us to be a great defense.
Watching Utah the last couple of weeks, they do a lot of different things in the run game. Is this probably the most diverse run game you've seen?
It definitely is, you know, because when I say everybody on the field can run the ball, I mean everybody. They're putting linemen and eligible numbers, and they're catching footballs, and two quarterbacks on the field at times doing things. A couple different running backs sitting there at quarterback. It's very creative what they do, and that's kind of college football nowadays. And so that's the beauty of the challenge of defense and trying to play defense in this day and age, is that offenses can do a lot of multiple things. But once again, it comes back, our eyes got to be in the right spot, because they're going to motion, they're going to move, they're going to shift, they're going to pull guys, they're going to do all those great things, and we got to do a good job with our eyes being in the right spot so we can get our feet and hands in the right spot to make plays.
With all the seniors on the defensive side of the ball, what are those conversations throughout this week? Kind of like, hey, you got one more guaranteed, but you're playing for another one.
Yeah. It's been a whole season thing. If you ask the seniors, I really stress to them that sand's going through the hourglass. That they're not going to. There's no do-overs for seniors. They got this one opportunity, and that's what it is. So it's not something we just stress this week. It's something I've stressed all year, that they take advantage of the opportunities that they have, and that's really important, because at this age, young men don't realize what it really means. When they get to be an old fart like myself, then they realize, hey, they're going to miss the smell of the locker room, the turf, the grass, putting on the pads. They're going to miss all that. Your job as a coach just to kind of get them to realize it a little bit. And I got so much respect, just for our seniors, and just seniors in general, especially our seniors, because the guys who've been here for a while, and I've been a part of this a couple times, man, they were just kind of sold a dream. Like, it wasn't, hey, we're a bowl team, or, man, they were sold that this is what we're trying to become. And through their effort, they made it into what it is, where the expectations are what it is, where people get upset about losses here. And Kansas used to be a laughingstock, and these senior class really did a good job of not making it that anymore. And so I got tons of credit for the seniors who've been here and done it that way. And, credit goes to, Coach Miles and his staff recruit them, and then Coach Leipold and them developed them. And that's an awesome thing. And I got respect for guys who just got here 6 months ago, because I know their journey was hard too. And we got some guys who are in their second, third school, and their previous schools probably, told them, hey, get out of here, or they weren't playing. And they got here and wanted to make a last statement in their senior year, and that's a beautiful thing. So like I told our guys, I got tons of respect for the seniors. My whole year this year has been dedicated to those seniors and those guys going out playing their best football. And so it's an emotional thing. You're so proud of them, especially guys who climb that mountain and get to the top and get a chance to run out that tunnel for one last time, hug and kiss their family, and play a great game. And I hope all the underclassmen give everything they got this week, so those guys can go out and play great football, and I know we are as a staff.
Anything else, Coach McDonald? All right.